Hey everybody, so today we're doing the April wrap up. Hey everybody, my name is Sophie, the Bookish Floor. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be talking about all the books that I was able to read during the month of April. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to read that many books this month. I started a lot and I have a few that I haven't finished. I wouldn't consider them a DNF because I am planning on finishing them, but I didn't do it before today, and today is the last day of April. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna count them as read books, although I probably should because I'm almost done with them, but I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about the ones that I did finish. Okay, so let's talk about the first book that I was able to finish this month, and that is Ruthless Vow by Rebecca Ross. And this book is the second book on the Divine Rivals duology, but I would consider them like two separate books. I actually like Divine Rivals a lot. I feel like it was a take on You Got Mail, and I really liked it. And then at the end, it kind of switched, and it left us at a cliffhanger. I feel like this is probably a book that was done, that was finished, that was ready, and then someone in the editing room said, "Make the ending a cliffhanger so we can write a number 2 in case it's popular." Because the cliffhanger doesn't even feel like it should be there, and I thought, okay, maybe, yeah, and maybe it was planned for it always to be a duology. Then I read book 2 and it feels like a completely different book, a completely different setup. Yeah, I didn't like the way that it went, how the story went. It is turning to a really, really high fantasy. However, it didn't make a lot of sense. So the premise of Divine Rivals is that you have these two journalists who are rivals and unfriendly towards each other, and the guy quickly finds out that both of them have a magical typewriter, that when one writes, the other one gets the letter, and so on and so forth. So he discovers that his rival at work has the other one, this other girl, and they start forming a friendship. Very You Got Mail, very Joe and Kathleen Kelly. So that's where the comparison comes from. But it's also a fantasy where they're in sort of like this World War II type of setup, but the gods are fighting each other and kind of using the people as soldiers. And you see what they are up to, what's going on with them. In the first one, we know that the brother of the girl goes off to war and he's missing in action. So she goes into war, like, to report it and find him, and he follows her. And spoiler if you haven't read it, and they fall in love and all that. And by the end of book 1, please, I'm gonna put the spoiler thing here. By the end of book 1, the guy gets taken by the gods. The girl finds his brother, but his brother kind of takes her, and they get separated. Book 2 comes up, and all of a sudden the guy is under like this sort of spell from the god, and he's kind of working as a double agent. It does have a lot of parallels to like World War II, like I said, and he is working as a double agent for the bad side. So that, again, that rubs me the wrong way. But also the setup, why would God need, like, these gods need like regular people, and then he is really easily able to fool the god that he's been taking to. So it doesn't make any sense. And then the goddess, the one that is supposed to be good, like, she never makes an appearance. Like, the whole god thing didn't make any sense. So book 2 is a mess. I felt like it was a mess. I felt like I didn't really enjoy reading it that much, and I feel like we didn't need it. We could have just done book 1 and close it up, and that was it. Because the whole point was these two rivals finding that they have more in common than what they think, and then all of a sudden you turn a cute romance with a little bit of fantasy element into a really high fantasy book that doesn't make a lot of sense with a little bit of romance. So yeah, totally disjointed. I didn't really enjoy that one that much. I gave it 3 stars because you know the characters and you want to know what happens to them. But really, when I think about, I do have a copy of Divine Rivals. I don't think I would ever get a copy of Ruthless Vows unless I find it or it's gifted or something like that. Find it at thrift stores or something like that. And just to have the duology, but I don't feel like I actually need it. Okay, the next book that I read was Say You'll Remember Me, which is the newest Abby Jimenez. I had read Just for the Summer. I had read Just for the Summer last month and I really enjoyed it. And I was itching to see if it was just one book that I would like of Abby's or maybe more. And I read Say You'll Remember Me, which is gonna be like book 1 on the next trilogy. She always writes like in trilogies. And like I loved it so much. I love the characters so much. Again, they have sort of like a grumpy sunshine, Darcy Elizabeth thing going on, very short at the beginning, and then you go into like the real story of them as individuals, what each one of them is going through. Turns out they go on a date, but the girl has to quickly the next day actually move back home with her parents because her mother is she has dementia and she has to go home and help them take care of her. And he is left in Minnesota. So she's from California, I believe. And he's left in Minnesota and they have to try and work it out if that's even what they're gonna maybe think of doing, because they literally had one date. So the whole thing is about them as individuals, them and their family dynamics, and whether or not that can help them or hurt them in their trying to pursue a relationship with each other. And that's what I like about Abby Jimenez's books. They are not just focused on the romance and the two main characters like they're the end of the universe and nothing else exists. Like they have actual lives and complexity around them, and they have to see if they can work things out as a whole, not just them and love, like actual communication, actual families, actual relationship, how we would go. So I really like this one. I gave it 5 stars. And I couldn't stop with Abby Jimenez there. Although I had started other books, I had to quickly jump into Part of Your World, which is the first one in the Just for the Summer trilogy. Like I said, I read the last one, so I knew these were like trilogies where worlds collide. And I knew I needed to go back and see about the other characters. And let me just tell you this, me reading first Just for the Summer didn't at all ruin anything or spoiled anything or anything like that, because you really are going through the story of these individuals, how they meet, what's going on in their own world, and how they can make those worlds come together. So every single romance from Abby Jimenez is gonna be like that, and I really appreciate that. So even if you know that certain people are or are not together, you don't know exactly how they got there. So it's really interesting to see the story kind of unfold as you are reading. Part of Your World I really liked. I gave this one 4 stars. I think Abby Jimenez just gets better and better as she writes. And going through her back catalog, I knew that was probably gonna happen. But I was surprised that I was still really into it. This one has a little bit more tropes of romance books. And then someone said that there's a little bit of magical realism. Honestly, I didn't see it like that. I know they mentioned something like that, like this town is magical, or this town kind of has a way of making things magical, but that's not really magical realism. It's very minimal to where you can say it's a coincidence. So I don't think that's what she was trying to do, but it's still a whimsical kind of moment of like fun whimsy in the book. So I think it's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind that people think it's magical realism. It's not really, but has that whimsy in it. And then I read the second book from that trilogy, which is Yours Truly. I know this is the one that people like the least. Again, some tropes. This is fake dating trope, which I don't like. I don't like fake dating, and I gave it 3 stars because it's not my favorite trope, but I still think that it's a great book. If I probably would have given it more like 3.5. 3 seems a little low for me. It's more like a 3.5, but Goodreads, you're not allowed to add like halves. So I just rounded it down because it's not quite a 4. Um, but what I really liked about this one is the male character. He suffers from anxiety, and I do have a bit of social anxiety. And at certain moments, based on my other like profile and things that going on in my brain, I could sometimes feel exactly like this guy, how he feels. And I have never seen it explained anywhere. When people talk about anxiety, they just talk about like being nervous, or like you don't want to do something, or talking to certain people it's awkward because they're really like super like popular or whatever, and you might not be like that. So anxiety is represented a lot like that way, but in this case they explain exactly how he feels in certain situations, which is not necessarily scared. Also, people think that anxiety means that you're scared, and it's not necessarily that you're scared. Is that your brain is working so hard, coming up with different scenarios, different solutions to problems that might come up. That's where the anxiety comes from. Is that your brain is kind of on overdrive, and a lot of things can happen, and that can make you have like a lot of anxiety. So I might not be explaining it well either, but this book did, and I loved it. I loved the way his behavior is explained, and also the way her behavior towards him, and how she can help him is explained. I think that if you know anyone with anxiety, or do you love anyone with anxiety, if you can read this book and see what she does for him, you can have a better understanding of what you need to do for the people who have anxiety. Like, I wish a lot of people in my life would ask me if they should do, or if they should act certain ways like she asks him, and she provides like that help. Like, that would be so amazing, and I think people should read it just for that, because everybody's bound to meet someone with anxiety. And even if you're not really into the romance, all those parts are so important that I really, really liked it. Like I said, this is a romance, so I would give it 3.5 as a romance. But if it was just about that social aspect, I would give it 4 to 5 stars, because it hit home so much. So yeah, I really like yours truly, and I know it's not probably people's favorite, but I'm probably gonna be rereading. I want to get it. I want to underline, I want to tap, and I want to tell people, look, this is what's going on in my brain, help me out. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that book to exist. Okay, and then the other book that I read after that, I decided to tackle my TBR, which I have on my socials if you guys want to check it out. But one of the books that I selected for my TBR is Rainbow Valley, because this month in Mexico we celebrate Children's Day, and today is actually National Children's Day. And I picked a lot of like children books and parenting books and things like that. And Rainbow Valley, I think it's book number 7 on the Anne of Green Gables book series. And this is about Anne's kids, and spoiler if you don't know, Anne's kids and some other kids in the neighborhood where they live now in that small town. Honestly, I've heard this before about L.M. Montgomery not wanting to write certain books from the Anne universe, I guess, and the publishing company really wanting her to write more. And this one feels like that. It's a bunch of like short stories and adventures, like little adventures that a bunch of people on the town have. But it's because it's that, and it's not a full like story. There's a lot of like classic things like gossiping and things like that from the time, I guess. And I didn't really like that. It wasn't really for me. I found it a bit boring and repetitive. And although I love Anne and I love the universe and I love the world, I didn't really like this particular book. Now, during Christmas, I also read Christmas at Green Gable, I think it was called, or Christmas with Anne of Green Gables. And that was a whole bunch of short stories also, but each one was contained. I feel like each one of those had a purpose of being like a short story of Christmas from the people in the small town. This one, because they just wanted it to be like a novel, I guess. Like they're trying to link the short stories, and it seems messy and muddled, and I didn't really like that much. I gave it 3 stars. If I could, I'd probably go down to like a 2.5. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't that great written. Like I said, it was repetitive and muddled. And yeah, I didn't really enjoy it that much. But it's not really about Anne anyway in her universe, I guess, in her life. So I'm okay with giving that one that rating. And then the last one that I finished is a book called I Was Told There'd Be a Village, Transforming Motherhood Through the Power of Connection. And this is by a writer called Melissa Worth. And I really dislike this book. This was provided to me via NetGalley. And this is about creating a village as mothers, that whole motherhood or parenthood thing, that where you're supposed to have a village to help you take care of your children. And in a lot of cultures and in a lot of communities, that's still very much the case. And it feels very distant. Like this person, I did a little bit of research on who they are, and it feels very much like she's distant from that type of culture and community. Like she doesn't have a real grasp and understanding on what the village is actually like, because a lot of the examples are examples of her being exhausted or her friends being exhausted, complaining all the time about motherhood, and then having people that can do things for them, which is amazing during motherhood, because you need that all the time. Obviously you need people to help you, but you're not just there for people to help you. You're supposed to also help people. Being part of a village is a community of people being there for each other, and not just in motherhood. I have people in my village who are not mothers, and they ask me how they can help me, and I ask them how they can help them. And they're not mothers, and that doesn't mean they're not tired and exhausted and they don't need help. And this seems really focused on, I'm a mother and I need help, so come and help me, and this is how you can ask, or telling other mothers this is how you can ask for help. But very little do they talk about actually providing that help. And when they do, is very superficial and very short examples. Most of the time is just about the difficulties, and I say complaint because this is how it's presented. It's not necessarily about the difficulties of parenting, and this is again men and women, it's not just mothers. The difficulties of parenting and raising a child, but it was more the complaining of the day by day and things that they wanted to do for themselves, and then how I can get other people to help me with my parenting so I can go and do this other stuff by myself. And even the titles, it says I was told there be a village. Like, I'm expecting it. Where is it? I was told this, and not how I can build a village, how I can construct my village, how I can work to become a member of the village. Those are very different. Those are very different sentiments. Those are very different feelings, and those are very different ways of presenting yourself. And this is pretty much a where's my village? I need you, help me, and that's it. Is not the other way around. And the other thing that rubbed me the wrong way is this person has a company, and the whole time they keep repeating the name of the company and what they do, and it feels like an Instagram ad. It feels like a sponsor video. It feels, honestly, it feels like a sponsored book. It's like, how many times can I mention my company so that people can go and buy stuff, and not really focus on the message of the village. So if you are interested in I said in my review that if you have no idea what a village is, you have no idea of the concept, and you kind of want to be introduced to it, this is a very tiny step in a very long ladder. This is the very first step in that ladder. after that you do more of the research and you get more into cultures and people who have already built a village or who have already that mindset and what that means. And also, again, it rubbed me really the wrong way, the fact that villagers are only other mothers. And they even say something like that, like, well, find people that you have this in common, find people that like to do this, like all the same people. And then in a later chapter, it says, well, you have to go out of the box. Maybe don't judge this other mother who does this thing differently. And then she goes and judges a mother who was actually reaching out. Like, I don't think she even realized. She tells a story about a mother reaching out and telling her about something that she needs, and she literally says, like, that was too much. I don't need her to like share all that with me. She's obviously an oversharer. I'm not gonna talk to her again. I'm not gonna meet with her again because I don't have the time or the space for her things because I have my own things. And that is not being a member of the village. That means that you want help and you can hire help for that. If you're not willing to be there for others, how do you expect other people to be there for you? So anyways, I would recommend that if you like really know nothing about a village and maybe want to know a little bit, but I don't even like the message. So I gave it 2 stars. And those are all the books that I finished. I'm still reading Nación de las Bestias by Mariana Palova. And yeah, I'm about halfway there. The writing style is not my fave. It feels it's about this person from India who goes to New Orleans in search for his father, but turns out they have sort of like magical powers. I think it's kind of like witchy and werewolves and all that, but it feels very foreign. Like they don't know a lot about like the Indian culture, they don't know a lot about American culture, and they're just setting the story there, and the way they're talking and all that doesn't feel very authentic. Not that I know a lot about either of those cultures, like the New Orleans culture or the Indian culture, but this one feels very distant. So the writing style isn't my fave, but the whole story, magical, witchy things, found family, I like that. So I'm still in the middle. I still haven't decided. The writing might not be my favorite, but the topics are fun. So I might still listening to it. I might finish it this week. I'm not sure. And then I'm also listening to The Ballad of Songbirds and Snake because I am planning on doing a video of that. So I'm working on that one really hard, taking lots of notes and doing a lot of research and all that. And what else am I listening to? Oh, I'm also listening to Mrs. Carey's Chickens, I think it's called, or Miss Carey's Chickens. That I saw that it was a classic Disney movie starring Hayley Mills. If you know her, she's the original kid in The Parent Trap, from the original Parent Trap, and I love her. And I wanted to read the book or listen to the book and then watch the movie, and then I ended up looking for it on Disney Plus, and it's not even there. So that book feels very much Rainbow Valley. So I'm probably just gonna finish it really quickly so that I don't DNF it because I'm almost done with it. Like there's no point on DNFing right now. I should just finish it, and then hopefully Disney Plus will have the movie soon because I love Hayley Mills and anything she's in I will watch. And yeah, those are the 3 books that I'm working on right now, listening to. If I'm able to finish them within the next couple of days, I would have read 9 books. If not, the only ones that I finish are those 6 that I already told you about. And that is it. Those are all my reads of April. Let me know, do you have any unfinished books on your very last day of reading? I might be able to sneak one in. I still have a few hours left. Let me know if you guys are reading anything or in the middle of anything, if you have read any of these books, if you like them. And if you don't know what to say, you have nothing to say, why don't you just leave a flower? I think I said that the last time. Why don't you just leave a yellow emoji for I don't know, happiness, sunshine, that are children, because I read a lot of children's books and also romance. I read those books this month. So just go ahead and put a little yellow heart emoji. Just this is how I do my hearts. You can tell my age by that. So anyway, remember that on the description you have all the ways that you can support my channel. I really do appreciate whether you go to my socials and follow and like, or whether you go to the other sections and see how else you can support my channel. And also remember that if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notified when I upload a video. A lot of you are watching but are not subscribed, so please, that would help me out a lot. And giving it a like, telling YouTube that you like this content, or telling me what else you want to see from me and the content that I create. Thank you so much. Remember to keep reading and keep blooming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.